Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jack who lived in a town. He lived with his parents, Andrew and Emma. Jack was their only child, and they loved him more than anything in the world. They gave him all their attention. Jack was a loving son. He was in class 6 and was known for his kind and gentle nature. Jack had a big heart and could never ignore someone in need. Whether it was a person, an animal, or a bird, he would always help. If he saw an injured bird or a stray dog, he would rush to help. Jack was also an obedient boy. He listened to his parents and always followed their advice. He treated his teachers with great respect. Because of this, he was always in their good books. His teachers admired his sincerity. Jack's best friend, Archie, lived next door. They went to the same school and were in the same class. One early morning, Emma quietly got up and went to the kitchen. She filled a pot with water, set it on the stove, and lit the fire. After adding 5 teaspoons of tea leaves and 6 teaspoons of sugar, she stirred everything well. Then, she grabbed the milk pack from the fridge and added half a cup of milk. Emma quickly peeled bananas and made a milkshake, then made scrambled eggs in a pan. She spread fresh cream on some bread slices and honey on others. As the tea began to simmer, she carefully poured it into cups and then poured the creamy milkshake into a glass. She set the table and went to Jack's room, where he was already dressed and combing his hair. She said,
"Oh, my lovely son, always ready on time. Come to the kitchen."
Then she called out,
"Andrew, breakfast is ready."
She went back to the kitchen. A little while later, Jack and Andrew came to the kitchen and sat down to enjoy their breakfast together. During breakfast, Jack, with his fork in hand, looked at Emma and said,
"Mom, I want something special for breakfast tomorrow."
Emma smiled.
"Why?"
Jack smiled.
"Because I'm your only son."
Andrew and Emma both laughed. Jack continued,
"Tomorrow is Sunday, so I want pastries. Cupcakes with chocolate syrup, cream rolls, and a chocolate milkshake."
Emma smiled and asked,
"Anything else?"
Jack shook his head.
"No, Mom, that's enough."
Andrew laughed and said,
"What's your order for me?"
Jack laughed and replied,
Dad, it won't be an order. Just a request. But maybe next week.
Andrew laughed too. Jack placed his fork on the plate and suddenly shouted,
Oh no! I'm getting late! Bye, Mom! Bye, Dad!
He quickly rushed to his room, grabbed his bag, and headed to school. Meanwhile, Andrew went to the room to grab his briefcase and phone. On Sunday morning, Jack got up and went to the kitchen, where Emma was busy preparing breakfast. Excited, Jack went back to his room and picked up the phone to call Archie.
Hi. Archie. Please come. Mom is making a special breakfast.
A little while later, the doorbell rang. Jack quickly opened the door, and Archie said with a smile,
Good morning.
Jack smiled and led him to the kitchen.
Hi, Aunt.
Archie said. Emma smiled warmly.
Hi, my dear.
Soon, Emma set the table with pastries, cream rolls, cupcakes with chocolate syrup, and thick, creamy chocolate milkshakes. The milkshake was rich and velvety, topped with whipped cream and chocolate syrup. Jack and Archie sat down to enjoy the breakfast together.
Wow. This milkshake is amazing.
Archie said. Jack smiled.
Mom always knows how to make Sunday mornings special.
One morning, Jack arrived at school, and soon the class began. Sitting beside Archie, Jack whispered,
Today, we're getting our science test results. I don't know what to expect.
Archie smiled.
Come on. You are the topper. Of course, you did great.
Jack smiled, but his worry didn't fade. As they were talking, the science period began, and Miss Soha walked into the classroom. She started handing out the test results. When it was Jack's turn, she smiled and said,
You did a great job, as always. Well done.
Jack took his notebook and replied,
Thank you, ma'am. It's all your hard work. You teach us with your heart.
On Saturday, Jack said,
Dad, I want to go to the book exhibition tomorrow.
Andrew smiled and replied,
Okay.
Jack informed Archie as well. On Sunday evening, before Jack could get ready, Archie arrived, dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. They headed to the exhibition. When they entered the exhibition hall, they started browsing books. They each picked out a stack of books. Archie chose storybooks and some science books, while Jack focused on stories, history, and space and medical research books. At the counter, Archie insisted,
I have money. I can pay.
But Andrew gently refused, saying,
You are like a son to me. Let me pay. No more discussion.
They returned back happily. One morning in class, a new student named Ethan walked in. Miss Julie asked him to introduce himself. He hesitated and shyly said,
I'm Ethan.
Miss Julie smiled and pointed to an empty seat, saying,
You can sit with Jack and Archie.
Ethan sat beside Jack. Jack noticed Ethan's bag looked old, and his pencil box had little stuff inside. During break time, when Jack and Archie started their lunch, Jack saw Ethan sitting alone without a lunchbox. He went with Archie to Ethan and offered him a sandwich.
Please, take it.
Archie added, offering some chips and a juice box.
Yeah. Come on. Just have some.
Ethan hesitated.
No. I can't take your lunch.
Jack smiled and said,
We're friends. Right?
After a moment, Ethan finally accepted. And soon they were all enjoying lunch together. Jack went to the shop and bought 2 geometry boxes. Notebooks, pencils, erasers, and sharpeners. The next day, he gave some of the items to Ethan. Ethan hesitated, but Jack insisted.
If you don't accept, I won't talk to you.
So Ethan put them in his bag. One day, Ethan looked very sad. Jack asked what happened, and Ethan said,
My grandfather needs eye surgery. But we need $25,000. My dad can't afford it.
Jack and Archie listened worriedly. After school, Jack said, disgusted with Archie,
I have $15,000.
And Archie said,
I have $5,000.
That night, Jack counted his money and put it in a bag. Emma woke up feeling thirsty and went to the kitchen. She saw Jack's room light on and opened the door. Jack looked startled, his face sweating. Emma asked,
What are you doing up so late night?
Jack said nothing. But Emma saw the bag and opened it.
Why do you have money like this?
She asked. She slapped Jack, and he started crying. Just then, Andrew entered the room.
What's happening here?
Andrew asked. Emma shouted.
He is stealing money.
Jack spoke up.
My new classmate, Ethan, needs help. His grandfather needs eye surgery. They need $25,000, and his father can't afford it. I have $15,000. And Archie has $5,000. We're trying to raise the rest.
After hearing this, Emma went back to her room, took out $5,000, and gave it to Jack.
I'm sorry, Jack. But you should have told us earlier. Take this. It's from me and your dad.
Ethan's grandfather's surgery was successful, and his father thanked Jack. Moral: true friendship is helping others, even when it's difficult.